Okay, I think I'm live. How's it going, everybody? See, we already have a couple of people in here. All right, let's go down the line and see who we have in here tonight. News Nebraska, Max P. Davies, the one away. Roopster, how's it going, bud? We got Jim from Bang Time Pool. How's everybody doing? Are you not hearing anything? Okay, cool. Sound is good. That's one of the things I definitely want to test. I remember last time I was having problems whenever I bend down to shoot, the microphone would get all muffly, so I'm definitely going to at least try to test that. I'm not going to start anything, but I'm just going to walk around, make some noises, and try to make sure that the audio actually sounds okay, because I'm actually wearing the transmitter here on my belt versus having it in my back pocket. And whenever I would bend over to shoot a shot like this, that's when the sound would get all muffly and crackly, and I think some static would actually start interfering. So what we want to make sure is stuff like that isn't happening again. And so, like, during that whole time, was there any sound? Like, or how did it sound? How did the sound sound? It's not muffled, just a little quiet. Okay, everybody else thinks it sounds good because I'm pretty much sitting just before the yellow on the microphone status. I definitely don't want to hit red because then I might hurt somebody's ears. No interference with the audio, so that's good. Okay, and I just saw my other buddy in here, the Pool Player Podcast. Be sure to go give him a subscription. He does a lot of great interviews with a lot of professionals that are out there. Can we see you dog some shots already? You're probably going to see me dog some shots because I did some practice racks before I went live, and they weren't really good. So this should be pretty interesting. TBZ, how's it going, bud? And we got Marcus Poole. Thanks for stopping by. So, because all I'm really going to do tonight is practice on some 10-ball ghost. I've pretty much got the 9-ball ghost, I think, down pretty well on my 9-foot table. If y'all followed the virtual tournament that Bang Time put on, so I figured now is time as any, or as good as any, to try to practice on my 10-ball break, both for ghost breaking and for match breaking. And what I mean by that is when I do ghost breaking, all I'm really concerned about is getting a decent spread to where when I take ball in hand, my percentage of being able to run the table should be relatively high. And then versus match breaking, where I can still get that same exact spread or close to it, but be able to have position on the 1 balls where I don't have to take ball in hand. And this is, of course, using the magic rack. Marcus Poole, you liked my 36 ball rack run out? That was a lot of fun to do. It was frustrating at first because when I first did it, I almost completed it on my very first try. I think I had about 10 balls left before I missed, and that was with the camera off. I wasn't even recording just yet. I just tried it just to try it, just to see how difficult it was going to be, like how the balls would spread, let alone how I was going to actually rack them. And come to find out, I ended up using an 8-ball magic rack just to get the first 15 racked, and then I was able to take the bottom 3 rows and kind of just push them up there, and then kind of push them pretty tight, so like the back 3 rows would be kind of loose, but I at least knew that the top 15 would be just fine. No, Pool Player Podcast, I am not going to do a break dry is a loss. Not yet. I am eventually going to try the VG10 format where if you break dry, it is a loss of frac, but not on this one. It's just going to be straight break with a ball in hand. Camden, am I going to use the diamond slicers that Sherivari uses? I asked him about that, and he has them on his tables, for visual purposes. But I think he told me that he doesn't really use them. Like he doesn't really pay attention to them. And I kind of feel the same way about them. I thought about getting them also just for visual purposes, but now I'm not so sure. But who knows? I mean, maybe in the future I probably still will get them. Oh, really? Are you going to be? Is it going to be set up in your house, Pool Player Podcast? Oh, I might as well just start calling you Joey because the Pool Player Podcast is Joey Ryan. He introduces himself on every video that he does. Johnny Boy, I do not know when my snooker video is going to come out. I actually need to practice playing snooker and figuring out, it's kind of like a mix between like playing straight pool and then just doing the points, because it's not like my first video is going to be a 147, because I don't even know if I can actually do a 147. But once I really familiarize myself with the rules, and like I'll put up some reinforcement labels to know where the point balls are going to go, and then practice it a little bit, and then I'll eventually make a snooker video. At least on a 8-foot table, because I don't have a 6x12, let alone I don't have real actual snooker balls, because the balls that I have are from Aramith and they're standard 2 1/4. Jared Newman, you're going to get to play on a 9-foot table this weekend, so that's awesome. I wish I could actually have more time on a 9-foot table. All right, so this is looking pretty good. So I'm going to go ahead and go through a couple of practice racks. I'm actually going to do like some sets with the Ghost, but I figured I would do a couple more practice sets while I'm live, so y'all can see how terrible I am at 10 ball. So let's go ahead and get that going. Plus, it'll give us a chance to actually test out if the sounds are actually going to hold up okay. So it does not matter if I make a ball or not, but I am trying to at least pocket either the balls that are in the second row. They should hopefully track towards their side pockets, and then the balls that are in the corners should be able to go 4 rails and then hopefully head towards their respective corner pockets. So it looks like I got the 5 to go in the side pocket, and the 3 ball was one of the corner balls, and it went its 4-rail route. And this would be a good match break here, since I have position on the 1 ball. So I'm going to go ahead and try to run this out without ball in hand, even though that 6 ball is like perfectly in my way for position. Really don't like that I actually hit the side rail before that ball went in, because I am trying to be more accurate. I'd rather hit the jaw of the pocket and have it go in than catch the side rail. All right, this gets a little interesting because this rolled a little too far. think I can hit it soft enough to get position for the 7 here. Got an unfortunate bump. Let's go ahead and get this out of the way. And this is a do or die shot here. 7-ball side pocket. Oh yeah, and I will be playing by 9-ball rules, so I won't necessarily be calling my shots. Oh. And I think I hit that too soft. Oh, okay, just right. All right, cool. At least my first live rack went okay. I'll be with y'all in just a second. Let me at least get this set back up. Okay. So, all right, Joey, I'll probably hit you up a little bit later. Tell the kids good night. Felipe Vasquez from Chile. Welcome aboard. Thanks for stopping by the stream. I got my buddy, Mr. Edit One. Your profile image looks a little different. Marcus Poole, my Revo shaft is a 12.9. I used to, way back in the day, used to shoot with a 12 millimeter shaft. But then after I quit for a number of years, when I came back, I just kind of decided to start shooting with 13 millimeter shafts, and I actually kind of liked it better than a skinnier shaft. So when I wanted to try the Revo out, that's why I got the 12.9 versus the 12.4. Max P. Davies, could you explain the difference between outside and inside English? You are forever confused. So when you look at the angle of a cut, if you're going to cut a ball to the left, then when you say outside English, you're always referring to whatever side of the ball of the cue ball is that is away from the angle of the cut. So if you are cutting a ball to your left, then right spin would be considered outside English. And then if you were to put left spin on the cue ball, since that is towards the angle of the cut, or you can say closer to the object ball, that would be referred to as inside English. So then when you're cutting a ball to the right, if you put right spin, that would be considered inside English, and if you put left spin, that would be considered outside English. Camden, how different do you feel it is playing on an 8-foot table compared to a 9-foot table? Not that much of a difference. Obviously there is that extra foot that the balls will end up traveling. The cue ball has to travel from time to time, but it's not really that much difference. I think the only time you really feel like a big difference is on long shots, you know, because like my depth perception can be so in tune to being on an 8-foot table that when I come up to a 9-foot table and I've got like, you know, one end of the table to another end of the table and the depth perception is just a little bit longer, that can be where it can actually come into play. But for the most part, I don't really feel that it's that much of a difference, and that's the main reason why I got an 8-foot table, is because my area is predominantly league play, which is all done on 7-foot tables, and I would actually prefer to play on a 9-foot table, but hardly anybody in my area likes to play on 9-foot tables. There's like a handful of us. So that's the reason why I got an 8. So that way my adjustments when I go to league aren't really all that bad, because y'all should know that when you're playing on a bigger table and you go to a smaller table, it's actually easier, or you play better. And then when I have to actually adjust upwards, it's not really that much of an adjustment. Seven years of good pool playing if you break and run the first rack. We'll have to see if that's actually true, Roopster. Felix Roman, the size of my pool table is an 8-foot, as I've already explained. Will Bolin from Indiana, how you doing? Thanks for stopping by. Jared Newman, so in 8-ball, it all depends on what rules that you're playing by. You're asking, are you supposed to call pockets in 8-ball and 10-ball? Because when him and his buddy play, we just called non-obvious shots. So it really just depends on the rules that you're playing by. You know, in APA, you have your APA rules, your Amateur Pool Player Association rules, where you do not have to call the pockets or the ball to the pocket. And then you have your BCA rules where you do have to call what ball and what pocket it's going to. Doesn't matter how it gets there, as long as it gets to the pocket that you called, then it would still be your shot. 10-ball is the same way. There's 10-ball with 9-ball rules where you don't have to call anything, and then there is 10-ball where you do have to call the ball and call the pocket. And again, doesn't matter how it gets to the pocket, as long as it still falls into the called pocket, then it would still be your turn. Tyler Wirtz, so you're saying my bank video was a game changer for you. I really appreciate that. Felix Roman, have I ever played on a 5x10 snooker table? I have. What's the best way, in your opinion, to master a table of that size? There's no other better answer than just practice, right? I mean, I think the answer would be the same that if you wanted to play on a 9-foot table and you're just a bar box player. How do you get better on a 9-foot table? Well, you just have to play on it. Like that. I don't think there's any other type of answer that I can give for that. Andrew Longoria, what's going on? Thank you for stopping by. We got Rush and Crush Gaming. Mitchell Blankenheim, he's ready to see me play some more. Like I said, I'm gonna try to do a race to 5. So when I start, that's where I'm gonna be away from seeing what the chat is saying until I at least finish the set. Just want to make sure there aren't really any questions I'm gonna miss before I actually start the set. Will Boland, what do you think is the most important aspect on the mental side of pool? I think the only way I know how to answer that is an answer that I've said plenty of times on some of my live streams, is just being aware of what you're capable of doing and what you're not capable of doing. And knowing that as long as you play your match to the best of your ability, it shouldn't really matter who your opponent is. What ends up happening is that you don't want to lose a game because you're playing bad. You would rather, of course you'd rather win, but I think it's fair to say that you would rather lose when you're still playing your best, because then you know that you just got outplayed. And when something like that happens, then you have to be able to, like, you know, do your homework and try to remember where your mistakes were besides just missing a shot. I always say, don't just say you lost because you missed. You have to try to dig a little bit deeper and figure out what was causing the misses. Was it because of the positions that you were playing from one ball to the next? Was it because you accidentally twitch at the last second before you hit the cue ball on certain shots? You know, being able to try to play up to the pressure. And If you're able to do that, then like I said, it shouldn't really matter who your opponent is. I'm fully aware and I understand the intimidation factor of knowing that if you know that you're playing up against a top player, that you instantly start to become scared, you start to become nervous, and that's going to, of course, is going to affect your game. So if you can at least try to bypass that, of course it's easier said than done, then I think, in the long run, I think you'll just be okay. And that's hopefully what should allow you to continue to improve your game versus just buckling under the pressure because you know who you're up against, and the chances of you winning are like slim to none. You pretty much give up before you even play the match. Like, you really want to know what you're made of when you know you're playing up against somebody that you know that can shoot back at you. And if all you do is fold before the match even starts, then you're never really going to know like how good you actually are. I figure that's probably the best way that I can answer that. David Rifkin. Oh, actually, hold on. I see Seth White in here. Congratulations on winning the Jacoby Q custom queue from the VG10 2.0 tournament. I was certainly hoping to add another Jacoby to my arsenal here, because I can show y'all this. Because if y'all been following my channel, I post on my community wall all the streaming events that the the Q It Up podcast does, and they just raffled off a Jacoby custom queue, and this is the Jacoby custom queue that they raffled off on the first event, and I actually was able to win this one. Only costed me a $100 donation, and I think this is the HB7, and the one that they gave away today was the HB8. And I actually did not win that one. And I was listening to their live stream today because they're taking a break right now for VG10 2.0. They won't start back up until I think February 1st, when they actually do the playoffs to be able to figure out who the champion is going to be. And I overheard them say that they're going to try to get a hold of a Predator Tuxedo queue. And if y'all don't know what that is, go look it up, because that is a sweet looking queue. David Rifkin, you're asking me if I'm still doing fractional aiming and how is that working for you. So I don't really do primarily fractional aiming. I'm primarily a ghost ball aimer, and then when I'm actually down on a shot, I verify the shot with fractional aiming. And what I mean by that is, when I'm standing, lining up my shot, that's where I'm like doing all my ghost ball aiming and trying to see that I'm lining up, the center of the cue ball to where I think the center of the ghost ball is going to be. And then when I get down on the shot, if I'm cutting a ball to the right, then I'll be using the right inside edge of the cue ball to kind of finalize the fractional aiming and seeing where am I actually contacting the object ball. Is it going to be close to a 7/8 hit, a 3/4 hit, half ball hit, or a quarter ball hit, or an eighth hit, or anywhere in between based on how I identify the angle of the shot. And for the most part, that's been doing well for me. Rooster, you use the hit and hope aiming system. Okay, so let's give this a try. And okay, so Mitchell Blankenheim has asked, what have you been doing better that part of your game? Which he's asking about how much more accurate I want to be. It's just identifying like how I caught the side rail. It's identifying how I caught the side rail on that one shot, and I said I do not want to catch the side rail as I'm going in. Where most players will say I made it and just dismiss, right? They're just happy that they made it. I'm not. So when I identify that I do something like that, then all I do is make sure that I try to do another fine tune on the aim when that shot comes back up again, because that's what I'm always trying to do to at least improve myself. Like I have my game, and then whenever I do something bad, like an error, whether it's a miss safety, missed bank shot, whatever, I really tried to dig deep and figure out, well, what was the cause of it? Did I shoot the ball too hard? Did I just not aim correctly? Did I not compensate for cue ball deflection or squirt or swerve? Or, all this kind of analyzing of what could have possibly gone wrong in the shot, and then I go through and try to correct what I think is wrong with the shot and find out if I'm right or wrong, because it's basically like, test, fix, test. And I say that as a software developer because that's how we write software. We test the software if it's broken, and we fix it. And so I kind of look at pool the same way, where I'm really looking for the bugs in my game so that way I can try to fix them. Yes, Wasabi. Eventually, I already have cloth. Some new felt that I'm gonna have my table refelted, and I will have a video of all that being done. I got a buddy of mine that does this professionally, and I'm gonna record it while he takes apart the table, and you get to see all the staples removed and stuff. It won't be a live stream or anything. I'm probably just gonna film it because I'm pretty sure it's gonna take a few hours, and that way I can kind of time lapse the entire and try to condense the video down to 30 minutes or something, so that way y'all can see what a diamond table looks like when it's taken apart and put back together. Yes, Throttle Lock, that's exactly the case that I'm trying to do here. Of course, I'm happy that the ball drops, don't get me wrong, but I do want to be more accurate because once I get my table refelted, I am having my pockets shimmed, because right now my corner pockets are 4.5 inches and my side pockets are 5. So when I get my table refelted, the corner pockets will be changed to 4.25 and the side pockets will be changed to 4.5. So that shot that I was complaining about where I don't want to catch the side rail, if that pocket was 4.25, I'm probably certain it would not have fallen in. So that is going to cause or force me to become more accurate. But enough of this. Let's go ahead and try to play the ghost in a race to 5, and there's my scoreboard. And I think Throttle Lock, if you're wondering about the scoreboard, this is on my Mac, and I cannot use the scoreboard program on my Mac since it's a Windows program. I'm eventually going to build my own to where I can actually keep score pretty much like how the scoreboard program works. This is just an actual online scoreboard that I can actually use, because I can just change the scores like this whenever I win or whenever I lose, and then set the scores back to 0. So we're going to try a race to 5, and so if anything, I will try to catch all the questions when I come back, because I won't be back until after I'm done with the set. And let me make sure I turned off the face cam. I don't want to go through playing an entire set with the face cam being on like I've done before. And so at least during the set, I will try to call out what I'm doing. I know I didn't really say much during the practice rack, but I will try to call out what I'm doing here, which may or may not distract me, but we'll see. Okay, the 4 ball missed the side pocket, and the 3 ball almost fell. So 2 out of the 4 balls almost fell that I was expecting to drop. So right now the 2 does not pass by this 6 ball, so I have to look at getting underneath the 2 ball for either the corner pocket or try to come down here for this corner pocket. And that's probably what I'm going to end up trying to do. So I think the plan is going to be that I can try to play the 1 ball in the corner pocket, and I'm probably going to try to bump into the 4 ball as insurance with the cue ball instead of trying to land perfectly where I need to be. I'm pretty sure that if I just hit that 4 ball with the correct speed, that I should be able to land on the 2 ball. Unless, of course, I do that. So that's off to a great start. So I ran out the first rec. Let's see if I can highlight this with a decent jump shot. Man, it's really close. I don't even think I'm gonna clear the 4-ball. Oh, I can actually clear over both of them. Wow. All right, so there's a terrible start. I'm glad the first rack went okay. All right, so the ghost is up 1. So now you get to stare at my back of the t-shirt that should say playing the ghost. Okay. All right, so we're off to a terrible start. See if we can actually make a ball this time. Like I said, we're looking for the 4 or the 9 to go into the side pocket, and the 2 and the 3 to go 4 rails, and then possibly fall into corner pockets. Okay, so there's the 9 and the 2 ball. So not a good match break because I don't have position on the 1 ball. But this would actually be pretty good for a ghost break. Now I just have to execute. So I think we just want to try to come up towards the middle of the table for the 3 ball. Okay, so now I think I'm at an angle to where I might want to follow forward to the short rail and then come around for the 4 on the side. Or I can try to draw to this rail. I think the only thing I'm worried about doing there is if my right spin that I'm going to have to put doesn't take, then I can get hooked behind the 7 ball. Yeah, so I think I'm going to go to the short rail on this one. Okay, so that works out. So now I can just push the cue ball over to the side rail and back out for position on the 5. So come off the short rail, come back up for the 6. I don't want to be straight in on the 6 because then I'll end up being on the rail when I shoot the 7. I just want to have this small angle here where hopefully I can just draw back a little bit, shoot the 7 in the opposite corner. Drew it back a little too much, but I should be able to manage this. I think on this one I will try to draw to the side rail and then just come back out for the 8 ball. And all I can do here I think is just go up and then try to come back down for the 10. Obviously would have liked to have been a little closer. But there we go, all tied up, 1-1. Do, 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 do. So as you saw that the one ball basically came down here and stuck itself on the bottom rail. So if I knew that it was going to reliably do that, that would be why I would probably try to draw the cue ball back here to play a position on it. But I don't think it does it all the time. Okay, this time a dry break, but no big deal. And you can see the one ball's in the middle of the table this time. Okay, so we got the 2 ball in the side pocket, 3 ball in the corner. 4 will probably go here into this corner or the side pocket. 5's most likely going there. Okay, I think I have a route for everything. When I look at this 2 ball though, I want to make sure that the 4 ball doesn't get in my way. So actually, I'd rather just follow forward to where I think I need to go instead of drawing it. Or, man, now I'm second guessing myself. If I try to come over here, the 8 ball's gonna possibly block me. So I think still going my original plan is correct. Or at least that's what I'm gonna try. So I'm gonna run into the 4 ball, but I am gonna try to, well, never mind. I was gonna shoot the 2 in the side, but I'm actually at a fairly decent angle to where I can try to cut it into the corner and then go around the 4 balls. So I'm actually gonna try that. Oh, come on. Let's go, cue ball. All right, that should work. Again, there's that accuracy that I'm talking about. I shouldn't have touched the 3 because now this messes up how I'm going to get position on the 4 ball. I hit the 6 like I wanted, but position's still not all that great. All right, I'm wondering if I allow my cue ball to go here, which is where it wants to go, if I put enough left spin, if it'll die on this rail, and then it'll give me a shot for the 5 over there. That's what I'm thinking. 6 ball now goes to this pocket here, so landing over here actually would be, I think, perfect to be able to get position on the 6. guess I should have hit it harder, and I could have ended up over here. I didn't think it had that much momentum. All right, well, fortunately, if I can kick this guy in, then I think I should get natural position. So I think... Or I can just get lucky. And this is why I'm currently playing with 9-ball rules. No, I can't cut it. Trying to think what to do here, because I have no idea how I'm going to get back down here for the 6. Like, I feel like I have a 3-rail shot to the side pocket, short rail, long rail, short rail, side pocket, but then still getting on the 6-ball with the way that I think I'm going to hit this is going to happen. Oh, never mind. That was way off. And that's because of how much I wanted to cut it just to get the cue ball back here. All right, 1-2 to the ghost. Okay, 7-ball down. And the 2-ball made it. So if you haven't seen my breaking a 10-ball rack 2 ways video, this is basically how I taught it, where like basically every ball in that rack has a predictable path, depending upon like the angle of the hit that you're going to do. And so that's why you hear me say about the balls that are in the second row, they go to the side pockets, and then the corner balls will go 4 rails. So they're not always going to drop, but you'll see a very consistent path. Oh my gosh. I really dogged that one. definitely trying to make sure that my cue ball was going to get position on the 5, so I actually should have just focused on making the shot and not worrying about position on the next ball. Oh, okay, let's see if we can get any of those 4 balls to drop. Got the 9 ball this time. 2 ball almost made it, and so did the 3. I mean, they went 4 balls anyway. But let's try to do a better job than last time. So 1 on the side, kind of just push the cue ball to the side rail and back out. Check the angle for the 3, making sure that a stop shot does not put me straight in. That's what I don't want. So I cheat the pocket a little bit so I can have this angle here. This allows me to naturally float down for the 4 ball. Now, I would have liked to go a little bit further because I'd rather cut it in and use the side rail and then come back out for the 5, but now I have to go forward. I can try to draw, but then I'm worried I'll run into the 6 ball. Oh, gee whiz. Warm-up set. Warm-up set. Ghost is already on the hill. Go ahead and fall 1. Ah, that would have been helpful. Ew. So I've got quite the mess to work through here. And of course, that might be all she wrote. So a Hail Mary shot is going to be banking the 2 into the side pocket off of the 6. Or the cue ball. Oh, yuck. So we'll call that a warm-up set because that was ridiculous. Okay. We'll try that again, though. What do I come back to? Let's see here. Let's see. James Sampson, you're wanting to know about my finger movement. That is just a habit that I have. It doesn't bother me at all. It doesn't affect my eyes. It doesn't affect my aligning. It's just a habit that my fingers will kind of dance on the table or they'll twitch while I'm doing my practice strokes and stuff. Jokum Skolvik, I hope I pronounced that right. You're wanting to know where to get this shirt. I can give y'all a link for that. Let me see here. Let's go here. I probably need to, I'll end up adding this probably to the description of this stream. There you go. But I will put this in the chat, so be sure to everybody to click on it. So, and then I will add that to the description box later. Oh, geez, Jim, you got 30 people that went into the next tournament? Mega Andy 12, am I planning on upgrading from an 8-footer to a 12-footer? I'm assuming you're asking that because you saw the snooker balls that I have. There's no way in the world I'm going to fit a 12-footer in my garage. So the short answer is going to be no. Banjo Fred, if you want to email me, you can find that on the About section of my YouTube channel, and then you can also contact me on my Facebook page. That should be in the description. Stan Schweyer, could I do a video on killing the cue? I'm assuming you mean a stop shot on the cue ball? Yeah, and then Banjo Fred, that's fine. Just check the About section of my my channel. That's where you can find my email address. Wait, TBZ, how is it my fault that 30 people want to play in the tournament? So we're gonna set these back to 0, and I'll go ahead and leave the scoreboard up because I'm gonna do another try in that. Oh, you mean, okay, so kill the cue ball with inside spin so that way the outbound angle is shorter than what's expected. I mean, I guess I can probably eventually try to formulate something that goes around with that. It's kind of, I don't think I directly mention it in my side spin video because I do have a side spin on the cue ball video. And like I said, I don't think I mentioned it directly, but I do demonstrate like what inside spin will do on the outbound angle. Hodges Lawn Maintenance. Should I buy the Jacoby heavy hitter for 200 from my buddy or get the new one for 260 but wait 6 to 8 weeks? I mean, which one do you want, right? You can have one now that's $60 cheaper that is used. I mean, you know, it's used, or you can wait 2 months for a brand new one. I mean, I think we're up to me if I can have the cue now, and as long as the used condition isn't like terrible condition, I'd probably settle for that. Mitchell Blankenheim, any thoughts on the potting last set? You see common errors or how to better for the next sets? It's basically identifying everything that I did wrong. Like the majority of the shots that I missed were just flat out misses, right? So all I can do is correct the aim. on that. And then there were what? There were two or three shots that set where I flat out missed the position, right? So that's judgment of pace on the cue ball. I think there was the one where I said I'm trying to kill the cue ball on the side rail, and I ended up getting hooked. So one, I should have learned that I don't need to try to kill it to get that position. I should have hit it a little bit harder, and I would have come out more towards the middle of the table and still had a shot. I just didn't think about it at the time. So like that's usually how I'm trying to break down like where my losses were, other than I missed the position, or I missed. Like there were other factors that I need to try to make sure that I bear down more and pay more attention on what I can do with the cue ball to improve the next shots. And then of course, just misses are going to happen. I mean, I'm going to make common mistakes. Everybody's going to make common mistakes. And those I like the most common mistakes that you can miss, like when I missed the 4 ball in the corner pocket, like that one I'll completely dismiss because I know I just misaimed. That's all I did wrong on that one. Oh, Zach Smith, you're currently waiting to get your 8-foot Brunswick together, and you're going to have some Simonis 860 cloth on it. That's awesome. We'll be sure to have you in the next virtual tournament. Which reminds me, I want to ask y'all something, because I'm thinking about doing this. I'll probably make an official video on it that's going to explain like rules and stuff. So I'm going to do a plug right now for Bang Time Pool, because if you haven't heard yet, he's already hosted 2 9-ball virtual tournaments. I played in the second one, and I was fortunate enough to win. On the first one, I was just a spectator. It was really cool to watch. But now he's about to do a third one, and there's going to be some money involved in it. So Jim, correct me if I'm wrong, but it's a $20 entry fee. He's going to pay out first, second, and third. Like all the entry fees have to be PayPal'd to him, and then he'll disperse them back out to the first, second, and third winner. And he's only taking 16 players though, and it's going to be a single elimination tournament. And if you've heard already, there's already like 30 people that are interested. So he's going to pick 15. I believe he's hand-picking them. And then whoever's left, there'll be a poll on his community tab where the viewers can actually select who they're gonna want to play. So there's that's going on, and I'm actually not going to participate on this one. I want to see if someone else will come up through the ranks and do as well as I did, especially with the way I kind of taught through the tournament. I was teaching them how to everybody how to break and how to break in such a way to where you have position on the 1 ball and satisfy the 3-point rule, because he is going to enforce the 3-point rule on this one. So there's all that going on. And I spoke with Jim about this on the side to make sure that I'm not kind of like, maybe stepping on his toes or anything. But what I thought about wanting to do is to start hosting challenge matches via live stream on my channel, to where there's money involved as well, just between 2 players. And the challenge matches will have a choice between 8-ball, 9-ball, or 10-ball. And I'm currently trying to iron out all the rules that I'm going to have depending upon what game that you choose. So this is not something that I'm going to go and like ask and say like, hey, do you want to play this guy in this game for, the whole thing is responsible to the players. Once I make this video that kind of explains all of the don't step, they turn green if I step on your toes. But the video that I'm eventually going to post, and Lord knows when I'm eventually going to post this is kind of just jumbling around in my head. It'll explain all the rules for each game, and the players that watch this, if they know a virtual buddy, or if they know someone in their hometown and they have a table and they have a table, they will contact me, and then basically schedule what they want to do, when they want to play, and what they want to play, and there'll be a wager on it. And I'm only going to keep the wager between like $20 to $100, and I think that's that'll be entirely up to the player. The question I'm actually trying to struggle with is if I should take a small cut for assembling the game together, live streaming it, commentating it, and everything else. And the first number that came to my mind was like 5% off the top. And then Whoever wins the match, then all the money would basically go back to the winner. So if it's, I'm sorry, not, yeah. So if it was a $20, I'm sorry, if it was a $10 bet between the two players, that's a $20 pot. 5% of that would only be $1. So I'd make just $1. But obviously, if it was $100 for it, then I'd make $5 off of it, and then the winner would win 195. But given that we've gotten this community of players that are wanting to do all this stuff virtually, like what do y'all think of that? Do you think that's something like everybody would want to be interested in doing? Rooster, you want to play Earl Strickland? I don't know if I can make that happen. Looks like we're getting some questions about the three-point rule. So the way the three-point rule is you have a combination of things that can actually happen. The simplest one is on the break, you have to get 3 balls to cross the head string and you know, end up somewhere. They don't have to end up somewhere in the kitchen, but they have to make it to the kitchen. Or make balls. So if you make a ball on the break, then 2 balls only have to cross the head string. Otherwise, it doesn't satisfy the three-point rule. And then if you make 2 balls on the break, then only 1 ball has to cross the head string and you satisfy the three-point rule. Or drop 3 balls on the break and you automatically satisfy the three-point rule. So that's what there's what is that, 5? Is that 5 different ways to satisfy the 3 balls cross the head string, make a ball and 2 balls have to cross the head string, make 2 balls and then a ball has to cross the head string, or the 4. So there's 4 ways to satisfy the three-point rule. Jared Newman, you've been interested in joining in some of these virtual tournaments. How much do you have to have it on your own table, or can you use a table at the public establishment? I would think either is fine. The problem that you're going to run into with a public establishment is music in the background. That will instantly kill well, I shouldn't say instantly, but it can kill a live stream. When there's background music, because you know we're gonna want to talk to you, like to do like pre-interview, post-interview matches, type of thing. And if there's music in the background, that can actually cause a video to get flagged for copyright and taken down. So that would be like the only concern with playing in a public establishment. But it looks like I've got a bunch of positive feedback on my challenge match idea. How about do a video with backhand English? I have a video on backhand English. It's my side spin video. I demonstrate both backhand English and fronthand English. Banjo Fred, when you're doing the three-point rule, it just has to cross the head string. It doesn't have to end behind the head string. As long as it crosses the head string, that's one of the conditions of satisfying the three-point rule. Robin Barnes, my fellow Texan. How's it going, bud? So Flavio M, is this open to Canadian players with a 7-foot table? So that's going to be one of the things that I'm going to be struggling with, other than, like I said, I'm not going to be involved at all at setting up matches. This is done strictly by y'all, the players. So what has happened with Bang Time's virtual tournament is that we've begun to build this virtual community of players that we just happen to know. We all happen to communicate with one another, either via email, instant messenger, or whatever, since we've met each other over these tournaments. So what I would expect to happen is a player will contact another player and say, hey, let's do a challenge match on Little Chris's channel for like $10 or $20 or whatever, and we'll pick this game. then one of them or both of them are going to email me and let me know who the opponent is, and then what game they want to play and when they think they might want to play it, because I have to schedule this stuff. They can't just say, we want to do it on this day, and I go, well, I have to work on that day, so we we can't do it on that day. But once we get all the details are ironed out between who's challenging who, and when they contact me to schedule the match, then we would do a live stream and just let it go. And while the players are playing, it would be very similar to how you watch. If anybody's seen Bang Time Pool's virtual tournament, it'd be a very similar thing of watching each player go one at a time, and I'll be able to do commentary without the players hearing me, because I'm streaming it. So that way I can talk to the viewers without disturbing the players. And then during break times or whatever, if the players decide they want to take a break and kind of just chit chat, we can do that during the live stream as well. And I'll still be able to talk to them during those time frames. But that's at least how I'm expecting it to work. I have no responsibility in setting up a challenge match. I just stream the challenge match. But what I'm hopefully going to do here in the near future is just construct a video kind of announcing this is what I would like to do for live stream content, instead of me just playing by myself on the table and talking to everybody. Of course, I'm still going to do this stuff, but I figured this is a new content idea that I can try to add to get people involved, and to appear on my channel. And I can also kind of interview them. Like I've done some interviews on my Pool Talk series where I basically just interviewed friends, people that I know that are in my immediate area. So this will kind of branch out to where I can, interview people from across the country, maybe even across the world. And so that was a long-winded answer for a Canadian player with a 7-foot table. If you have the players will have to agree to play under the conditions that they are wanting to play. Meaning that if one player only has a 7-foot table and the other player only has a 9-foot table, if they agree to play under those conditions, then that's it. I'm not going to mind it one way or the other. We all understand that if someone plays on a smaller table than someone on a bigger table, the person that's on a smaller table will have the advantage. That's pretty much well known. But if the players contact me and agree that they're going to play under these conditions, then I'm personally not going to care. What am I missing here? You would take 10, Jim, you would take 10% for side action in the next match? That's awesome. Mega Andy, you liked my straight pool run your age challenge that I had done. I plan on trying to do that every year. I mean, my first attempt, I was able to score 50. Right, so I kind of made the joke that I shouldn't have to do the challenge again until I'm 51. But no, I'll do it again this year when I turn 41, because every year I try to do a set of push-ups equal to my age as well. And I was actually, if you go through my channel, you'll see that right before my straight pull video is me doing 40 push-ups. But I did the 40 push-ups on my birthday, and I tried to run 40 points in straight pull on the same day. Just could not do it, because I wanted to combine both of those things together to actually make a YouTube video out of. I just couldn't run the 40 points at the time, so I just did it later in the year. Okay, cool. So it looks like I got a pretty good amount of good comment. I didn't see a single bad comment about it, but let me work through more of the details on the rules. I've already got rules defined for both 8-ball, 9-ball, and 10-ball. It's just a matter of, do I want to say well, we're just going to play 9 racks, or we're going to do race to whatever amount of points based on the number of points a rack could actually score. Those are some of the finer details that I do have to work out. And like I said, when I actually construct a video that kind of explains everything, demonstrates everything, yada yada yada, then I'll actually see, or then it's up to y'all to basically create the matches and just contact me. That's pretty much like how I think it's gonna work. Oh, bang time. I really like that idea. We need to get a huge Zoom meeting together next December 15th, because that is my birthday, and do 41 plus 1 push-ups with me. I actually really, really like that idea. Like I said, now that we've got this nice community of pool players that we all talk virtually and stuff, so I think that'd be something that would be kind of fun. But enough of that. Let's see if we can beat this ghost, because that was horrible to lose 5-1 in the first set. So I think I'm going to try to break a little bit softer. I'm not going to be soft breaking by any means, but that's going to be one big change that I'm going to do on this set here to see if I can get better results. So let's try it again. Race to 5. And then we'll just do some more chit-chatting. All right, so like I said, we're going to try a softer break. Let's still see if we can get either of those 4 balls to drop. Okay, don't really care about scratch. Breaks do not matter. Okay, at least the 2 ball has a path to a pocket. So I kind of feel like that I take, I have to make sure that I do not end up behind that 5 ball. That was already one mistake that I made. So I do want to try to push the cue ball to the rail and then make sure that hopefully it comes around. All right, so now I think I can draw back. Try to roll this ball in. This is basically one of the shots that I missed, because I just flat out missed it in the last set. There was really like no excuse for me missing a shot like that. And I hit that too soft. If anybody's wondering why, like you might say to yourself, well, you got position on the 5 ball, which is right, but look where my 6 ball's at. So now my cue ball has to track up table and then come back down table for position on the 6. I would have much rather, because then I can either stun, draw, or even follow to get position on the 6. Now I actually have to go completely around the table, which makes this shot a little bit more difficult to manage. And that was done with a boatload of top left spin, in case y'all are wondering. So there's the shot line. So I need to come pretty much towards the center of the table for a decent position. You know what? And I'm being paranoid, making sure, okay, making sure that I turned off the face cam. Be halfway through a rack and you're like, what are you doing? We can't see anything. There we go. All right, at least off to a good start, 1-0. Let's see here. All right, so the break was dry, so probably want to try to hit a little bit harder this time, but not that much harder. And I even almost scratched when I did that. All right, I really want to know how that 10 ball went. That was interesting. And yeah, so in case you're wondering, I'm not counting that as a win. That was actually super interesting that the 10 ball fell the way that it did. All right, what am I going to do here, though? This is tricky. As the 6, 7, and 8 are actually really, really difficult. Oh, ball. Jeez, what are you doing? Ah. Well, I got position on the 4. But that rack would have been very difficult to maneuver for the 6, 7, and 8. So I can't wait to look at the replay and try to see how did that 10 ball go. Did it get kicked in by another ball, or did it just go straight over to the pocket? Normally, the 10 ball really shouldn't even move outside of the magic rack. So that was definitely interesting. Okay, so the interesting part about that break is you saw how the 6, 7, and 8 basically lined themselves up, which I don't even think I have the same exact rack, but as I did the last one. But I don't want that line of balls to be created again. So I'm going to make another adjustment to my break here. Okay, 9 ball downs, 7 ball down. Those were the second row. 2 balls sitting pretty, and then looks like the 3 ball might go to the side pocket. I have to make sure I land in between. Well, now that I think about it, is that what I want to do? Now I'm not so sure. Because the 4 ball being right here, it might actually be better if I can get the cue ball to land somewhere over here and shoot the 3 in the side. That will make position on the 4 easier. So I think that's what I'm going to try. So I'm going to try to get position on the cue ball along this rail. That way I can use the short rail to come over here. Kind of like that, but not with this steep of a cut angle. That almost worked. Just misjudged the hit really bad. But if anybody has seen me shoot, they know I can cut. I'm fairly comfortable with really thin cut shots. Not saying I'm going to make it, I'm just comfortable at shooting them. And you can see I overcut it. And I would have gotten position. I actually had one shot in the virtual tournament. I don't remember if it was in the finals or the semifinals, but the cut angle was like, geez, I don't even remember. Do you remember, Jim? Do you remember which one it was? Because the cut angle was like almost like beyond 85 degrees, and I overcut it. All right, 1 to 2. So really, the mistake was how I played position from the 2 to the 3. I had the right idea. I just don't know if I had too much spin, if I hit it too hard. You know, like so that's basically what's going to be playing around in my head until I think I solved what the mistake was. I think I played the correct shot to play the 3 into the side pocket. I think that was the correct shot. I just got to try to figure out how I didn't get the position that I was wanting. A little bit of a hop there on my cue ball. Okay, 2 ball makes it all the way around. So when I look at, probably would like to be a little straight on the ball. That makes it a little bit easier to draw back for the 4. Oh, geez, that's what I get for not paying attention. Oh, I even scratched. Goodness gracious. The joys of playing the ghost. And this is where I can probably say that I'm not giving it my full attention. Probably because I'm live streaming. I think that my attentiveness would be better, but this is why I want to live stream. I have a little bit of a distraction, but I want to be able to play through the distraction. Again, the 10 ball moves out of the rack. And this is a terrible spread. Nothing I can really do about that. So I think here I can try to get my cue ball to go from one side rail to the other. Come back over, please. Hmm. That 9 ball is a huge blocker. Ah, goodness gracious. There's no way I'm going to be able to make the 5 now. Unless, let's see if I can get a carom off of the 7 ball. Nope. And everybody should know what this feels like when you feel like you're just falling apart through a set. What, the ghost is already on the hill again. These race to 5s are brutal. All right, come on. Gotta find my sweet spot for the break here. Okay, 7 ball down. Oh, geez, thanks a lot, 2 ball. Golly. Even if I get this breakout, I'm not even guaranteed that I'm going to get a shot. Let alone, I got the opening shot to be able to get the breakout to begin with. Oh, geez, another 1 to 5 loss. Oh, that is brutal. That is just brutal. Got to be able to hopefully at least get 1 win before I before I finish the stream tonight. Let's see, what do I come back to? So the 10 ball went, no kick, no nothing. So that's interesting. Eric Court, what's going on? Thanks for stopping by. Roopster, you could see that the ghost is wearing a shirt saying, "I beat Lil Chris." So I think on my next set, I think I'm gonna go ahead and try to resort to maybe some power breaking and see what kind of results I get there. Because I went from 1 breaking to trying to break a little bit softer, and that didn't help. So now I'm gonna try to do a little bit of power breaking. So we might actually see my cue ball hop some more. But I don't really see any questions, so I'll go ahead and just try to run back another one. So this time we are going to break a little harder. And let's see what kind of results we can get. And I think if I go back to what all the top players were doing at the VG10, they were almost breaking a little head on, and they would just straight draw the cue ball back. So I'm going to go ahead and try that. Okay, the 7 ball is kind of an odd ball to drop the way that it did, but I still at least made a ball on the break. I have a decent spread. The ball's on the magic rack, so not going to try to disturb it. Okay. Ooh, kind of playing with that 5 ball. Oh gosh, I babied that. That's called letting up on your stroke. Babied that one too. But we're actually okay. I'm pretty straight like I would want. Okay, so at least that's off to another good start, but we've been here before. But the draw break looks legit, so we'll try it again. Let me make sure everything is frozen. And they are. Okay. All right, 1-0. Let's try that draw break again. Golly. That must have been a really, really bad hit on the for all that mess to happen. All right, so the 7 ball ends up being a little tricky. If I can get over here on the 4, then I can nudge the 7 away, but going from the 3 to the 4, that's also going to be tricky. Oh, ball. Golly. All right, let's see if I can get that position. Okay, I think I got it. So all I have to do is make sure I hit that 7. If I hit the 7, the four should be going in. Okay, now let me make sure about the 9. The 9 ball passes by the 10 just fine. So here I'd like to just come straight across if I can. And I kind of think here I have to do 2 rails, or no, 3 rails, 1, 2, 3, and then come back out to where I can still see the 8. All right, I'm pretty proud of this rack. Even if I lose the set, I'm pretty proud of this rack. I was able to battle my way out of that one. But hopefully now y'all also see the benefit of all that future planning. And there's too many times when I'm helping players that I find out that what they typically like to do is they'll shoot the ball, wait for the cue ball to stop moving, and then try to figure out what to do next. So, and it's not like I had the entire rack planned out. I just had plans up to like critical moments. Whoops, too many. There we go. And then once I got past the critical moments, then I started completing the rest of my plan. So hopefully that serves as a confidence booster. Okay, 4 ball. You're still becoming an issue. Can't tell if I'd be able to make the 8. I think that's a dangerous shot if I tried to do that anyway. Actually, is this even worth it? If I take the combo, the 4 does not go all the way up to the corner, so moving the 8 out of the way does not benefit me. I'm trying to think about how to move the 7 out of the way and still have a shot at the 2. But actually, I think I see something that I can try. So I need to stun over a little bit for the 2 ball. Okay, now hopefully I can draw into the 7 and 4 and still have a shot for the 3 in the side. Ah! Well, hold on. So my plan half worked. I got the 4-ball out, and I have a shot on the 3. Oh, come on! No. I think that was the shot that I needed. I think I might have been able to solve the rack after that, if it weren't for that 3-ball. All right. The ghost is on the board. All right, but one thing I'm noticing is that my racks are not symmetrically spreading like I would expect them to do. Kind of just going all over the place. Okay, there's a symmetrical pattern. But gee whiz, still end up though. I think all I can do here is try to come around for the 2-ball. Okay, do I want to land in the window? It's a pretty big window. Okay, the 8-ball goes by the 9-ball. One thing y'all should notice is that I'm not really commentating anymore, and my focus is a little bit better. So I definitely want to practice more that when I'm live streaming, I can. I did not think this one through. All right. Miscued. Golly. And this is with new chalk too, because I'm now using, or I'm trying the Teom Pyro chalk. And the reason being is because it doesn't leave so much residue on the cue ball. Oh, come on. Gee whiz. I could have at least made that. Man. All right, shake that one off. Blame the miscue. All right, what is that? 2-2. All right. So yeah, there's the little chalk mark from the miscue. Miscues always leave marks on the cue ball. That's a little bit of a check on the 5-ball. 5-ball's got a pretty tight pocket to the side there, but clearly goes into the corner. So when I look at the 2, I definitely want to make sure that I'm close to the 9-ball actually. That way the natural angle kind of takes. Don't get hooked behind the 9 though, come on. I did. Gee whiz. That's a careless mistake. That's all that was. Even if I would have made it, I wouldn't have got position. All right, so 2 good racks, and then I start to fall apart. All right, recovery time. Okay, 4-ball down. Okay, this looks decent. Golly, I certainly didn't want to be this close to the 5-ball. That's about all I had. If I tried to draw it, I end up hooked behind the 7. Slow down, cue ball. Wasn't supposed to come anywhere near the side rail. And I thought I had the rack solved. So another careless mistake. I was supposed to hit right here and then spin back out this way. All right, so much for that. That one was due to a careless mistake. Let's see here. Okay, what are we doing here? It's like I'm always good for the first part of the set, and then I start to fall apart. But my spreads really haven't been all that decent, though. And what I mean by that is like how I have to transition from one ball to the next. All right, 3 balls is going to be an issue. Unless I try to bump it right now. Okay, that kind of helps. Doesn't really help that I ended up straight in on my 2 ball, though. Because now I'm just shooting one hard shot after another. And I've always said that if you shoot one hard shot after another, then at some point in time, you're just bound to miss. Yuck. Just the way I caught that side rail, plus being straight in. So I didn't have a choice there if I wanted position on the 7. It's not like I could have tried to jack up on the 6 and draw the cue ball back. Oh, geez, what do I want to do here? I can cut it in the side, or I can go all the way up. Believe it or not, that was my concern of cutting it in the side, is running into the 10 ball. Hit that extra hard just so I know that I end up down here. Try to do a rail first so I can avoid the scratch. Oh, goodness gracious. That was a lot harder than it needed to be. A whole lot harder than it needed to be. So in case you're wondering about 10-ball racks versus 9-ball racks, like, you can see that that extra ball, not only because there's an extra ball on the table, but it basically drastically changes the pattern that you might be used to running out, which has a huge effect on being able to run out nonetheless. Versus a 9-ball rack. Okay, 7-ball down. All right, spread looks decent. Now I just have to make sure that I execute better on this one with a spread like this. Except what's my shot on the 4-ball from the 3 to the 4? I think I have something. And let alone getting from the 4 to the 5. The 3 to the 4 is the least of my problems. It'd be interesting. I think I'm hooked. I am. Golly. All right. At least I can say I made a jump shot on stream. All right. Someone asked earlier about killing the cue ball, and that's killing the cue ball right there. I had a boatload of right spin on the cue ball in order to land over here the way that I did. Still almost got hooked behind the 6. Oh, come on. I'm obviously glad that I made it, but I didn't want to be this far away from the 8-ball. Ah, cue ball went everywhere I thought it was going to go, so I should have just hit it a little bit harder. because then it would be right around here, and I could shoot the 10 in the corner. So let's see if I can bank today. Yes. Okay. So what? We had a jump shot and we had a bank shot. Hill to hill. Place your bets, folks. Am I going to win or am I going to fold? Let's make the 10 on the break and we'll count it this time. Okay. Whew. Take a break after this one and come talk to everybody. Or take a longer break than I did from the last set. Okay, 2 balls down on the break this time, but golly, of all the things, my 1 ball has to end up like this, and then look where my 2 ball's at. The 1 ball does not pass by the 6. Oh, you're killing me, Ghost. You're killing me. This is really my only option, and I'm not even guaranteed a shot after this. So I can try to cut across like this and then maybe get my cue ball to run into the table. Allow me to have position for the 2 ball. Maybe. See, I'm not counting that as a win. This is going to be full runouts. So, oh man. So y'all want to know how thin I like to cut shots? And I overcut that one. Of all the silliness, I overcut that one. Oh. Well, that was at least a little bit better. Lost hill to hill. I can accept that. I can accept that. Oh, let's see. What do we got here? What am I coming back to? I like this question. Jared Newman, I'm looking to transition to a low deflection shaft. I played pretty well with my regular maple shaft on a percentage scale. What difference would a low deflection shaft add to my game? That's going to be a really huge it depends in regards to like how you play with regular cues or wooden shafts. I can say that between what I've experienced with low deflection shafts or like my Revo versus the wooden shafts that I've played with before, even though I'm mostly now a backhand English user, so having to try to compensate for a squirt and swerve isn't really that much of an issue, regardless if you're using a wooden shaft versus a carbon fiber shaft. But what I can say, it becomes I want to make sure I say this right. That you don't have to, I already don't have to compensate as much using backhand English. But with a carbon fiber shaft, I compensate more or less. I think I'm saying that right with that. It sounded like a double negative. I don't have to compensate as much, so now my compensation is lesser. I think that's the right way to say it when I use a carbon fiber shaft. And actually, I like the way Bang Time puts it here. If you're a 15 handicap in golf, buying a $3,000 set of clubs may make you a 14 handicap. Like I think that's pretty reasonable. And I actually have a video under my pool talk series where I say choosing a cue for the first time, like the first cue that you're going to buy. And you actually watch me break and run 4 different racks of 9-ball with 4 different cues that range from $20 all the way up to my Predator Revo, which with the Revo, the butt with the 314 shaft that I have plus the Revo that I had to buy was close to about $2,000 altogether. So you go from $20 to $2,000, and I perform just as well with everything in between because my Viking VM8 that I have, I think, was about 600 or 700, and then my Sean that I have was about 1,300, I think. So when you take all these cues that you have from all these different price ranges, yes, as you get more expensive, you get better quality material and stuff, but it doesn't play so much of a factor in the improvements of your game, where the majority of it is just completely on you yourself. Because look at the great players that are out there that don't use carbon fiber shafts, right? They still use regular wooden shafts, and they still play great. All right, Zach Smith, thanks for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. TBZ, thanks for stopping by, bud. Jim, it looks like people are wanting to know. Oh, you said you did answer. You say starting up here real soon, because I thought you said was it yesterday that you did the cutoff on receiving emails for possible entries, and then so now you're going through the selection process. I couldn't remember. I don't remember exactly what you announced on your last video. Oh, we got my buddy Bryant from Corner 4 Billiards up in here. What's going on, man? Okay, so I did have that right. So that you're not, yeah, Bank Time's currently not accepting any entries, so he's currently going through the list that he has and figuring out which 15 that he's going to pick. And then he'll throw up a list of those that are remaining for the viewers to vote. I think that's going to be interesting because, if you don't know who the person is, like, how do you possibly vote other than looking at their name? Maybe I don't know if the players provided like maybe their Fargo ratings or their skill levels, or like what kind of details are you going to put in the poll to say, well, I want to choose this guy because I like the way his name's spelt, or or whatever. I think that's going to be interesting. Nicholas Desidue, I think I pronounced that right. The balls that I have is the Cyclops Zeus set. And then I also, if you saw my break and run of my 36 ball rack, that was including my Aramith 2 1/4 snooker set. Hey, Mega Andy, thanks for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. All right, I think I'm going to make one more attempt at this ghost and then probably call it a night. How long have I been streaming? A little over 2 hours. Okay, good. I don't want to make this another 3-hour stream or something that I've done before. So let's try this one more time. And then we'll chit chat and then call it a night. Because I do have to work tomorrow. But after doing that 36 ball rack, I'm kind of exhausted. So I'd figure this would be like a laid back moment to do a live stream. All right, so the draw break worked on the first rack, but then it kind of fell apart after that. At least the head-on break seemed to produce more of a symmetrical rack or symmetrical layout, which is really what I would want, because then it's just up to me to, maneuver my cue ball accurately. See, like if I get a nice symmetrical layout like this, then it's really just up to me to execute. And if I fail to execute, then that's just totally on me. I don't have to say, oh, look at the clutter that I had, or look at the one ball. I had to cross bank the one ball. Like this is entirely up to me to be able to complete this rack. Oh, garbage. Slow down. Okay. Kind of just felt it right when I hit it that the cue ball was going to turn itself loose. Oh my, see what I mean? Oh my gosh. Like, really? Entirely up to me. But now you know why I want to practice my 10 ball ghost. Oh, blah. Okay. So the head-on break is at least working better for me. I don't need to do an angled break. Okay, 5 ball. It's kind of nice that the 2 and the 3 stayed down here instead of going there, instead of finishing their 4-rail route. This makes for provided, of course, that I execute still. I mean, I felt like I should have been able to complete the last rack, but obviously didn't. I don't scratch or run into the 8 balls. I try to get position on the 6. Do both. Hit the 8 ball and scratch. Oh, geez. you have to get straight in. Was that necessary? I kind of feel like I have to play this on the short side of the 9-ball. So, and I played it like that so that way I can hit that 9-ball as firm as I did, but I still ended up coming short. So you can see if I keep on going, then I get a little bit straighter on the 10-ball. There we go. Whew. So what, like how every set has started? I win the first one, and then it's all downhill from there? Oh, yuck. Okay, I at least dropped the ball. 3-ball does not have a pocket, unfortunately. Yeah, it doesn't have a pocket at all. So what do I do? What do I do? I kind of feel like I want to run into it like this, and I might be able to get a shot on it. There we go. So at least also say that I've used every bit of equipment that I have. Jump stick, bridge. So if I don't have my extension out. Babied that one. Now I got to be careful because the 10-ball becomes a blocker. Come on, come on, come on. There we go. Still not very good at judging those high inside shots like that. Hit that just a little too hard. All right. Had what, one little trouble area, which was that 3 ball, and I was at least able to manage that one okay. Okay, we've got another good start. 2-0. Let's see if we can hold it this time. Oh, that was a terrible hit. Just seeing the way my cue ball came off the rack. Okay. Nonetheless, we've got to make it work. I think all I see is a 2-5 combination. But my starter shot's rather tricky. So I got to make sure I hit this pretty square because I want to shoot the 2 in the same pocket. I don't really want it to roll off or, roll towards this point and kind of get stuck on the point. Because it looks like I'm going to run into the 9, so it's not like I want to cut the 5 in either and have the 2 drift this way because I think my cue ball is going to get stuck like right around here. Oh, never mind. So that'll work. I thought I was going to run into the 9 ball. Okay, I think I'm actually okay rolling forward and taking the back cut. That allowed me to come around, I think, for the 6. Kind of like that. It's a natural roll there. Overhit it just a bit, but no big deal. Question becomes, what do I do here? The 8 ball or the 9 ball does not pass the 10 ball. So I kind of feel like I have to get over here to shoot it, unless I want to try to shoot the 9 in the side. When I look at what I can do, I might be able to draw back slightly and shoot the, no, I've got too much of an angle for that. So never mind on that. Try to come through here. If I come through here, then I might be able to set up for the 9 in the side. I don't want to try to draw down this way because I certainly don't want to get hooked behind the 9 ball, though that is an option, but that's kind of my concern if I do that. Or do I just draw straight back? If I draw straight back and shoot the 8 over here, if I come up short, that means my cue ball's coming down here and I have to work my way up here to shoot the 9. Man. Okay, I think I'm dead set on following this then. Okay. I can try to shoot the 9 in the same pocket. Oh, crap. Not like that though. Maybe now the side pocket. Oh. If I make this, though, the cue ball should naturally go 3 rails, give me the 10 ball in the corner. Whew! All right. Looks like we're writing a different story if I start off 3-0. So I hope the breakdown of that 7 ball made a lot of sense as to why I played it the way that I did, because then I'm thinking about how I'm going to shoot the 8 and then try to get position on the 9. That was a better hit. Am I going to make anything? There we go. That was one of the corner balls. All right, not much of a choice with the 1 ball. I have to draw back for position on the 2. So I'm going to make sure I draw back to hit this rail. It doesn't really matter where I end up, even if I get a back cut on the 2 ball would probably be good. Or even if I don't get a back cut, because then the 4 can go into the side pocket, which should allow me to play position for the 5. Okay, I have a little bit of a cut. So if I look, see if I shoot this, I don't want to have a shot here, because then I'm shooting the 4 into the side pocket, my cue ball goes here, and I have to drastically spin it just to get it to the 5 ball. So it looks like I want to be on this side of the 7 if I'm still going to shoot the 4, or I can try to shoot the 4 down here. Unless, of course, I overhit it. I didn't take that part into account. Ah, gee whiz. Really? All right. I think we can call that overthinking it. All right, one hard shot after another until unless I can get back in line. Oh, come on! Yeah, even then, the cut shot on the six ball was difficult. Okay, well, so much for a shutout. That'd have been a nice way to end it, but let's still try to end it on a victory. I think that's always the best part about coming up with the plan. Like, you have the idea of what it is that you want to do. Now it's just a matter of hitting the cue ball with the correct pace, right? Because the cue ball obviously went where I wanted it to go. I just hit it with the wrong pace. And based on what it did, I probably should have went ahead and hit it a little bit harder just so that it could come farther off this rail instead of what it did do. All right, try break. Give myself a little angle so that way the cue ball ends up in a spot where I can reach it. Instead of shooting the one ball straight into the pocket. It's like the little subtleties actually go a long way with how you play position for the next ball. Ooh, I probably made that a little bit harder than it needed to be. Yep. And I overcut that because it looks like the five ball was drifting away from the side rail. All right, we're still not done though. Plenty of racks to go. Still in it. Okay, that's a decent spread. Would have been nice to at least make a ball, but try to make do. Man, that side pocket is huge if I try to play position for the 4 in this corner. Oh, golly. I thought I could catch right here or here. Man. That probably wasn't the smartest way to play it. All tied up. All right, come on. Race to 2. I don't know what is up with that 10 ball coming out of the rack the way it does. All right, 3 ball passes by the 7. That allows me to get position on the 4. Double check. Yeah, it looks like it does. Oh, now that I'm cutting the 3, this makes it a little bit harder. Make sure that I don't nip that 7. Oh. Okay, does the 5 pass the 8? It does, but it's a small window. Golly, man. I thought I played that just right where that doesn't happen. Ah, that is horrible. All right. Two and a half. Ah, gee whiz. What did I do wrong there? I must have not hit this short rail early enough for it to do that. I think if I would have hit the short rail early enough, that wouldn't have happened. I played the right shot. I just executed it wrong. I'm really trying to understand where the mistake was. It hits this rail and hits this rail, because I should have come all the way around the 9. Like there should have been no question about that. All right, now I'm in panic mode since the ghost has gotten 4 in a row on me. Otherwise, the ghost gets a flawless victory for tonight. Okay, 7 ball down, 2 ball down, 1 and the 3 at opposite ends of the table. 5 to the 6 becomes tricky. All right. Okay, the 4 does not pass by the 6. So I've got this good angle here. Come around. You can even bump the 6 if you want. That kind of maybe helps. Makes the 6 a little bit more playable. Oh, geez, this side pocket is so small. Ugh. So, like I said, bumping the 6 actually was very helpful. Check to see where I need to be on the 8. Don't really want any unnecessary angles. All right. Well, at least I'm satisfied that I hopefully am giving y'all some exciting sets here. You know, I'd love to actually win a set, but at least the the last 2 sets have been exciting. So I would really like to end this on a high note if I can. But don't hate me if I don't. I'm only human. Okay, I was getting worried about the 2 ball not having a pocket. Okay, so all I got to do is make sure that I get on the other side of the 7. And other side meaning over here, the side of the 7, but the side. So little bump off the rail, extra insurance. Yikes, I was not expecting that. Ugh. That changes things a bit. Man. Oh, Lord, that really changes things a lot, actually. Because I don't know if I just clip that 10 ball wrong, I'm going to scratch. Like I can back cut this. I'm not worried about that. I'm worried about if I hit that 10 ball wrong. Well, that was interesting. I still hit the 10. I don't know how I got around the 9 ball like that. Yikes. Okay, never mind. From down there, it didn't look like I was as straight in as I would like to be. Bump. Oh, not that much of a bump. Golly, come on. If y'all have seen my 36 ball rack and my run age straight pull rack, cue up the Final Fantasy victory fanfare. Ah, dun 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 dun. Whew. Okay. Oh my gosh, that was a lot more stressful than it needed to be. And I would only die laughing if I come back to my computer only to find out that I did not turn off the freaking face cam. Like that would have just like made my entire night. Oh. Oh my goodness. All right, let's see what we got. Don Cardinal, if you're still in the chat, you're asking what's the size of my Revo? I was going to say tip. The Revo is a 12.9 millimeter for the carbon fiber. Danny Saber, thanks for the compliment. I'm glad that you're enjoying the video or the content that I put out. Monique Greer, I'm happy to see you here because I know that you've been coming by and watching the VG10 2.0 tournaments that I've been promoting for the Queued Up podcast. Okay, looks like Corner for Billiards is gone for the night. Just let you know if you watched the recast. Thanks for stopping by. The Ghost has a 999 Fargo rating. Well, a 614 just took down a 999. Finally, what was that? That was only one out of four. 1 out of 4 sets. Did I have the scores wrong? I'm seeing looks like some interesting things about the scores. Well, Roopster, you're right though. I wasn't happy that the Ghost caught up to me. Oh, so am I 4-4? I do remember rattling that 4 ball. Am I not done? I do remember rattling that 4 ball when I said all I have to do is execute. So am I not done? Is it actually now hill to hill? Oh my gosh, okay, so it looks like it is. Do I have one more to do? That's why I'm glad I went back and looked at the chats. I have one more to do? Oh, the ghost won? Ah, okay. Well, never mind. Because so if I didn't count the first one, oh my goodness. Okay, never mind. So that would be that means the score would be, I think, that 3-5, right? Did I lose 3-5 then? Oh my goodness. That's actually hilarious. Oh well, I mean, hopefully y'all still enjoyed that. Yeah, do I have the score right? The final score should have actually been 3-5. Ah, whatever. All right, let's take a look at a couple more chats though, because I am done for the night. Yeah, okay. So I had the scores wrong. All right, so I did not beat the ghost tonight. Let's see, XT Bum. You notice I had a commercial-looking light by my table. Having a mismatch of lighting around the table, does that light create enough illumination? And where did you get it, and how much? Which light are you referring to? So, because I can show you that what is next to my webcam, if I can turn this enough without nothing disconnecting. I've showed this before. There we go. There is one of my studio lights that's right next to the webcam. And the reason why I have that light there, turn this back. So, but I am going to say though, thanks for keeping me honest, guys. Like when I read the comment about the missed 4 ball, I do remember that. So yeah, but the reason why I have that studio light is because when I stand in front of the camera, you guys can see me clearly. Because if I turn off the studio light, you can hopefully see the drastic difference without that studio light. And I did buy a ring light that I can put next to my, or that allows my webcam to actually be mounted inside of the ring light. And I didn't like it. It still didn't produce enough lighting for me. So if I stood close enough to the camera, to the webcam, then the ring light had sufficient amount of light to still allow me to be seen. But this studio light, though, it's freaking massive, and so far I've never been in a situation where my foot hits it or anything else. It just creates better lighting when I'm at least at the foot end of the table. I like the way you think, Darren. The ghost cheated. I think I want to say that I actually did win. 5-4. But we'll try the ghost again. The big kicker of it is going to be, like I said, as I work more and more on ghost breaking to where I get that symmetrical spread that I got a couple of times, and maybe a ball drops. It'd be nice if I can still get a ball or two to drop, because then I'm just running less balls on the table. To where when I know that I'm cracking that rack just right to where I get that nice symmetrical spread, and then take ball in hand and be able to just properly execute through the table, and then still like master the break to where I can get position on the 1 ball at the same time, just like how I did the 9 ball rack. That's the sole purpose practicing the Ghost for tonight, was to figure all that out. That's why y'all heard me say all these adjustments that I was trying to make on my break and what I was exactly looking for. Ken J16, you won one of the jump break cues also? That's awesome, because I actually won 2 of them. So I already have one poison jump break cue that I'm going to give away when I reach 75,000 subscribers. I'm actually packaging it with a 2x2 case, a large poison glove, and some predator chalk. I have no idea what I'm going to do with the other poison jump break cues. I think I'm going to make some. I think I'm going to try to come up with some like interesting challenges for people to try to complete, and whoever completes them first wins those cues. The light that's on the other end. So I've done this before, so I'll go ahead and do it again. So I have a variety of lights in my garage, but what ends up happening is if I just turn on the garage light, and then I may even turn off the studio light. So this is what my garage looks like with just the lighting from the garage door opener motor, because there's 2 warm white light bulbs, and warm white is what gives off this yellowish tint that you see here. Then I also have like the actual garage light, that is over here. But I can't move the webcam, and I think the webcam would literally be blinded if I pointed at it. But it literally looks like a space shuttle. Like it's got 3 different flaps that I can move around like this. But you should be able to see how much of a shadow, because since the light's basically coming from this angle here. So there's actually a couple of videos where I was filming with this, and then when I got the studio lights, I was still filming with that light up above, and then with the studio light, I have 2 of these studio lights, so I'd have one on this side and one on this side, basically pointing this way to try to light up the entire area going this way. But then I eventually got some, I believe these are either fluorescent or something, but right next to my garage door opener motors, I have 2 sets of them, one on each side, to where now I have light that shines completely down onto the table. And that's what this light is. So as long as I don't have the garage light on or anything else, but the 4 bulbs that I have directly up here next to my garage door motor opener shining straight down onto it, and you can see the shadow is so much better because now the shadow is completely underneath the ball. So that's been kind of the evolution of the lighting in my garage, and I don't even think I'm done. Like, because eventually I want to try to do another like real Ghost video. I don't know if y'all seen that video yet, but if you go look at my channel, you can see me playing the Ghost, and I titled it The Real Ghost, because I have a green screen suit that I actually walk around the table and play in, and then kind of green screen myself out to where all you see is like if anybody's ever seen the movie The Predator, you just see like this visage of a player holding a cue, and even the cue's kind of like blurred out as well. And then I run the table as the Ghost, because in that video I purposely miss certain shots, run off camera, change into the green suit, and then come back in, and then try to run the table as the Ghost, since the Ghost never misses. And then when I take that video to my editing software, and then I try to green screen myself out, so it actually looks really cool. I had a lot of fun making that video. The luminescence of my lights, I probably couldn't tell you. Let me pull up the lights that I bought, because the ones that I have above my table now, I got those off of Amazon, and those are the ones that I primarily use now when I'm filming. But let me see if Amazon will tell me. do a search for lights. All right, so the ones that I have up here, it's the Sunco Lighting. It's a 2-pack, industrial LED shop lights. They're 4 feet in length, so it says 40W equals 260W. I really don't know what that means. 500K daylight, 5,000K daylight, 4,000 LM. Let's see, what else is in here? Oh, so that's the color, the 5,000K daylight. That's the whiting color that I get out of it. And the description does say 4,000 lumens, if that answers your question. At least I hope that answers your question. Oh, you heading to bed, Darren? Have a good night, bud. Thanks for stopping by. How did you miss that video? I hope you're not talking about my ghost video, right? Everybody has seen my real ghost video, have they not? XT Bum, if overhead lighting is not practical, I think the one thing that you're probably going to want then is lighting on. If you have lighting on one side, you're going to want lighting on the other side to kind of counteract one another. Otherwise, you're going to get that shadow casting that I showed you earlier. Mr. Athletic over everything. The size of my table is an 8-foot. Kevin Keene, welcome to my channel. Am I an APA player or a BCA player? Why can't I be both? You put or. I'm actually both. Right now, BCA really isn't going in our area because of COVID, but APA has resumed. It's been on for at least a couple of months now, and I do play both. Steve Brandon, you saw my 36-ball challenge. How many attempts did it take for you to accomplish it? It took quite a few. So I did one attempt, like my very, very first attempt. I just did it off camera just to see like how the break is going to look. And come to find out on my very first attempt, I almost completed it. I got down to where I had like 10 balls left before I actually missed. So then I thought to myself like, oh, this is going to be a rather simple challenge. But then every attempt after that first attempt was like worse and worse and worse and worse, like almost to the point to where like I would break. And you would think with 36 balls on the table or 35 if I happened to make a ball on the break that I would have a shot. And there were a couple of breaks where I didn't even have a shot because I didn't want to do that rack like where I would just basically blast the cue ball into the clutter, and if something drops I just count it. Like, you know, I wasn't exactly like fully planning out everything until like near the end as I had all these different balls on the table. I'm like, okay, let me just shoot this, and I know my cue ball is going to end up over here, but once it gets over here, then we'll see what we're going to shoot next. And then because as I kept walking around the table, that's when I started unlocking like different shots, like, oh, I need to play position for this one, so then I would go do it. But at the very beginning of the rack, when there's so many balls on the table, I was kind of just picking them off where I knew that I could until I got towards the end. Then I really started planning. So overall, how many attempts did it take me overall? I think it was like 10 or 15 overall when I finally got it. And throughout that 10 or 15, I had one attempt where I missed after only having 3 balls left. So you can only imagine how frustrated I was when I failed on that attempt, because I had 3 balls left and I missed the next shot. How did I rack? I used the Jaworski. I used the magic rack. So the front 15 balls were the 8-ball magic rack, the one where it's just the simple triangle, not the one that has the prongs in the middle. Not the blue one, but this one. I just used that one. So that way, at least the front 15 balls were at least frozen. And so that allows me to take the back 3 rows, and I place them next to one another, and then I'm able to just like gently push them towards the magic rack. So the back 3 rows weren't completely tight because like the moment I let off, some of them might, wobble off or whatever, but it was as close to a tight rack as I thought. And then I got, someone gave me a really great idea of using multiple magic racks. And I didn't even think about that, to where like I could have used the top 15 to rack them, and then use my 9-ball, 10-ball rack to kind of rack the bottom rows together, I think, and that probably could have allowed it to be like a completely tight rack. Ken J16, I already know about Darren Appleton's 75-ball drill. I don't know if I'll ever attempt that, because that's some really, really tight cue ball movements that you have to do to be able to do that without disturbing a ball. Andrew Longoria, am I undefeated this APA session? I've only played twice, I think. And I want to say yes. Let me look. I want to say that I am undefeated. Last session, I did lose. Like typically in a session, I'll either lose 2, 1, or none. That's pretty much been my consistent record that I've had in my area. And yes, currently right now I am 100% on this session. Will I finish 100%? Only time's going to tell. Kevin Keene, am I a Super 7? I would be considered, I am considered a Super 7. I think it was only like a couple of years ago where I first heard the term Super 7. But yes, I am considered a Super 7. Okay, Jim, I can look and see about getting some daylight bulbs in my garage door opener. That'll probably just, because like right now I have my garage door opener motor is motion censored, and I have the motion sensor taped over. That way it doesn't turn on while I'm in here, and I don't have this cross lighting between a yellow tint and a white tint kind of thing. But if I get some daylight bulbs up there, then I can probably have it on, and it might light up the table even more, which would be good. So that, James Sampson, that dartboard that I have yet to turn it on. Like I used to be a soft tip dart player like many years ago. Like the one of the pool halls that I hung out with had a dart league, and I played the dart league for a little bit, and I was really into it. Like playing pool for so many years, and eventually started throwing darts. It was a lot of fun. But how many have I ever hit? I've hit quite a few. Like when I started getting like decent at it, I can hit a ton 80, fairly accurate, or like when I'm doing 501 double in double out, stuff like that. But I haven't thrown darts in like freaking forever, so I really don't even know like how accurate I would possibly be. Plus, you can look here, like I'd have to mark the floor somewhere with like some tape to know that I'm, the correct amount of distance that I need to be in order to throw the dart. The dartboard is at the regulation height that it was supposed to be, if I remember correctly, because I did look it up, and then I did make sure that when I measured it, I put it up at the correct height. Let's see. So as I scroll back through other questions, I don't think I see anything. I did see a question about what's the difference between APA and BCA. So when you talk about 8-ball, 8-ball is 8-ball, The only difference is in APA is you have to if you scratch on the break, the opponent gets ball in hand in the kitchen, versus in the BCAPL that we play in. Not if you don't, because like the World Pool Association of BCA says that you also have to take ball in hand from the kitchen, but we play by the BCAPL, which means you get ball in hand anywhere if you scratch on the break. In BCA, you have to call your ball and call the pocket that it's going in. In APA, you don't have to call anything. It's just luck, except for the 8-ball. But in APA, when you play the 8-ball, you also have to mark the pocket with a personal object. You can't just call it. Usually what happens in the local league area, like your high-ranking players like 5 through 7s, they will agree with one another that we can just call the 8-ball. And usually 4s and belows, they will mark the 8-ball. But when you go to like the city event or the regionals or nationals events, it doesn't matter what rank you are, you have to mark the 8-ball with a personal object. Cue ball fouls only, to where you get a ball in hand. So if you disturb another ball, I think the only time when you disturb another ball and it's a foul is if that disturbed ball crosses the track line of the cue ball, or obviously if the cue ball runs into it, because then it's completely altered the entire layout of the table. Versus if it moves and like nothing gets disturbed or whatever, then you have to try to move it back as best as you can. Scratching on the 8 in BCA is not a loss. It is just ball in hand for the opposing player, unless you make the 8-ball and scratch. Then it's a loss. In APA, a scratch on the 8 is a loss. I think those are all the major differences. I'm pretty sure there's like some small nuances here and there, but those are the major differences between APA and BCA. Okay, I'm not really seeing anything else for the evening. How many people do we have in here? I've got 53 remaining people in here, so that is awesome. I can say that I'm very happy that I've had some people come in here for tonight. Like I said, after doing that 36-ball rack challenge, I was pretty exhausted, and I still have other videos that I have to work on. I have 2 APA videos that I need to edit up and get them posted. I have 5 pool coaching lesson videos that I need to get edited up and posted. And after doing that 36-ball rack, I'm just exhausted and just kind of felt like doing a live stream. So it makes it so much easier. Kevin Keene, how long have I been playing for? What am I? 23 years, because I started playing when I was 17, and I'm now 40 as of December. Young Tran, what's going on? You kind of came in at the tail end of my stream there, bud, because I'm pretty much fixing to call it a night. But thanks at least for stopping by. Just be sure to catch it on the recast. You can pretty much watch the ghost beat the crap out of me the entire night, and you'll find some comic relief towards the end where I thought I beat the ghost on the last set, but I forgot to mark a game where the ghost won. And when I thought I won 5-4, I actually lost 5-3, like the score actually shows. But you know, my chat was keeping me honest, because when I came back and sat down, I started going through the chat, and I'm like, did I get the scores wrong? And then realized after reading enough of the chat that I did get the score wrong, and did not beat the ghost tonight, like at all. Had some close ones, but was not able to win for the night. But yeah, I think that's pretty much gonna cut the stream for tonight. So thanks everybody again for stopping by. So I hope at least with what I was able to show, other than not winning, that you at least learned a couple of things. Like how to break a 10-ball rack and see how with the magic rack that the patterns that the balls will actually go is rather predictable, and you can get certain balls to go in certain pockets. And so what I'm really trying to do when I'm practicing the ghost is to obviously be consistent with getting that spread, to where when I'm playing the Ghost, I can be more successful because all I have to do is get that spread and then execute. But then on top of that, I am trying to master the break to where not only do I get that spread, but I can also get position on the one ball. So when I get that, then I have two different types of breaking for 10 ball. There's ghost breaking, which is just spreading the balls out and then just trying to run them out with ball in hand. And then there's match breaking, where you can spread the balls out and have position on the one ball. I pretty much have that locked down for a 9-ball rack with a magic rack. Don't know about with regular racks yet, because I eventually need to start bringing regular racks back into play as well and see what I can do there. So yeah, that's pretty much going to end it for the night. Once again, thank you all for stopping by, and I hope you have a pleasant evening or morning or afternoon where everybody might be. So until next time, take care, everybody.